About a week and a half ago, I was in Barcelona doing street photography, and I finally learned how to see and photograph light. So I'm going to share my experiences with you here today, hoping that we can all use it to grow our photography together. Hi, if we haven't met yet, my name is Ken. I'm an amateur photographer learning photography right here along with you. I'm also the creator of the online photography community called The Big Photo Hunt, which is arguably the world's most friendly photography community. It's really friendly. When it comes to light, I just can't see it, and I haven't known how to use it. But this all changed when I was recently in Barcelona, and because my brain works sequentially, I've broken it down into 5 things that I've learned that I want to share with you today. The first thing that I was really able to practice was the use of shadows. I have seen these photos where people take shadows and they draw these sharp lines and they shape their photos and they isolate their subject, and I have never really been able to do that. I didn't understand that. I was always out in the street looking for these dark shadows, and then what I realized was that they don't really exist. They don't smack you in the face as a dark shadow. But if you pay attention and you look, you can see the shadows on the ground, on buildings. They're right in front of you, but they're faint. And a lot of times that darkness, that depth, and that black shadow, it comes out in post. So I started understanding this, and then I looked for those shadows. And then when I found these faint shadows, I lowered down my shutter speed and my ISO, and then in my camera, I could see them, and I started popping off shots. They still weren't as dark as what I really wanted, but then in post, I was able to work with the shadows in there and get the type of look that I was always trying to nail but never could. And you can see in my raw photos here, you could see 2 things. One is the progression as I was trying to learn and figure all this out. And 2, you can see how the shadows, they're not as dark as they are in my final post-processed images. And I had a lot of fun playing with these. I was working this, I was seeing where like this one subject, should she be on this shadow line right here? Should she be in front of it? But once I was able to see these shadows, I was finally able to grasp a concept that I was trying to understand for a long time. The second thing that I was able to learn was how to use this warm light that Barcelona offered. This Mediterranean light that was coming off of, well, the Mediterranean, or just that warm glow. It really did help create a mood and an environment that where I'm from in the northeast of the United States, I just can't get. Even in summer, I can't really find it, unless it's golden hour, but it's hard. And I also think a big part of that is how the materials and the color of the buildings, they bring that in and they absorb it. It was just inviting and comforting, and it was a light that I really enjoyed shooting in. Oh, but wait, before we go there, it's that time of the video where I'm supposed to ask you to subscribe, ring a bell, give me a thumbs up, and all that good stuff. I would obviously love for you to do that. But if you're an amateur photographer looking to be part of a community and grow your photos, get inspired, and get feedback from others, hey, check out The Big Photo Hunt. It's the online photography community that I created for amateur photographers, and it is arguably the world's most friendly photography community. It's really friendly. The third thing that I learned when I was in Barcelona was how to use reflecting light. And I have been taught this, but it just never really connected for me. I just think I needed to get out there and practice. So I got really lucky on this one. I was in the Gothic Quarter, which is the oldest city of Barcelona. It's beautiful, I recommend it. I wasn't actually really excited about going there. I didn't want to go there, to be honest, because a lot of times when you go to these big cities and you've got these old cities, it's just it's tourist traps, and you're looking at buildings, and yeah, it's cool to see once, but I wasn't really excited about it. But I went. I wanted to go, and I went to see this famous bridge that comes between a church and a building, and it's the spot that everyone goes to photograph. When I got there, I was like, oh shit, this is great. There's people everywhere, and it's like not that cool. And there's a car in the background, and I don't know what I'm gonna get. But I stayed for about 10 minutes, and it's hard for me. I'm not the kind of person that can stay in a scene and wait for it to evolve. I've gotta be moving. It was very painful for me, and I was wondering, can I do this? Can I stay here? And I did. And while I'm there waiting, I was just resigning myself to this idea that I'm gonna take a photo, and it's gonna be of tourists with their fanny packs, and that was gonna be the picture I was gonna take. But I was trying to force myself to focus on lighting, and I was looking around, and I was like, wait a second, there's a little light coming through the middle here where this bridge is. And then I looked on the ground, and there was like a path of light like in the middle there. So I dropped down my shutter speed and my ISO, and I narrowed this little light coming through this bridge. It was dark, really dark shot, but now I had an idea of waiting for this one person to maybe come through the bridge, and then all of a sudden this group came through, and this one guy walked through the middle, and pop, I grabbed the shot. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Let's see what I can do in post. When I got home and I started editing, I brought it up a little bit and I played around with it. I got a shot that was pretty cool here. The idea was to use this reflecting light here on the ground to shape it and also light him a little bit. I don't know if it really did that. It's more of a backlight on him. And again, I am learning photography. I've got a long way to go here. But if you compare these photos to my photos 4 years ago, you'd probably say I'm a magnum photographer by now. I'm not, but compared to 4 years ago. The fourth thing that I learned shooting street photography in Barcelona was to set up the scene around the light and then wait. Waiting is very hard for me. I'm not a waiting kind of person, but I did it. And I did it on a number of occasions. First time I did it was I found this alley with a stream of light coming through the middle here. This is on my way to the old city, so it wasn't quite there, but I was getting close, as you can see by the architecture and the buildings. I looked to my right and I saw this alley with this light coming down. And I was like, okay, this is where I'm gonna practice this. I'm just gonna set up my scene, and as much as it's driving me crazy, I'm gonna stand there and wait. And there was this lady coming out of this storefront over here on the right. She had like a broom and she was cleaning up around the front of her store, and I was so hoping that she would walk into that stream of light. She never did. But a lot of people kept walking through this. And some were right, some were not. They were all kind of just walking in and out of this, but I really practiced my patience and I tried to get the right subject to come through there. I don't know if the right subject on this case really ever made it through this light, but there was one that I could kind of work with. I cropped in a little bit and it works, but I am proud of myself for waiting, and I did learn from that experience. By the way, as soon as I left that, I was walking out, taking some more photos, and the lady got robbed, like right in front of me, well, about 30 or 40 yards in front of me. I was taking photos and all of a sudden I hear her yelling, and I was like, what? It was like 9:30 in the morning, and I hear this lady yelling, and then I finally walk up there and the police pull up, and she was a tourist speaking English. She was like, they grabbed my necklace and I went down like this, and I was like, whoa. Barcelona's the pickpocket capital of the world, I believe. And so this happened in broad daylight. So if you go to Barcelona, make sure you wear a strap on your camera or something. I use this Peak Design wrist strap. I love it because it has freedom of movement, but also I know that my camera is safe. It is strong and sturdy, and no one's taking this camera off of my hand. They may take my hand and my arm with it, but at least, you know, I don't know. My camera's stuck to my hand. And the fifth thing that I learned about light was this idea that the light can lead the viewer's eye. And there were a number of ways I practiced this. The first was in this photo of the bridge at the Gothic Quarter. I was able to use that light there in the reflection, I think, to kind of guide the viewer's eye to the subject. And I don't think I recognized this was really even happening, but as I looked at my photos afterwards, I could see what it was doing. And then I was sitting in a restaurant having, oh my God, it was amazing. It was the tortilla patata. Things are amazing, by the way. It's potatoes, little onions, which is a big controversy, apparently. It's like, do you take your patata with onions or not? Oh my God, and the pan con tomate with the tomatoes. I gotta go back to Barcelona. I'm going back. Anyway, I was in this restaurant. It was the only one there. It was sitting there. It's like 11 a.m. And I'm like, hey, can I have breakfast yet? So as I was sitting there, I could see there was a framing of the window and the light here. And I was able to capture this little photo. Again, is it the best? I don't know. The final two important things that I'll leave you with are that for me, one, I realized that all of the photos that I took, the ones that had the light in them, those were my best photos. And the last was that I finally now understand why photographers obsess over light. I just didn't get it. Everyone's like, light this, light that. And everyone's light, I love light. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I get it now. I understand how the light is what it's all about. And speaking of what it's all about, you're kind of the light of my life, and I don't know what that meant, but I'll catch you in my next video.